once my brain stopped because there was so much external input, that's when the inspiration came. And that's when the words flowed and the page filled up. Usually when I think of meditation, I think of the quiet moments, the wind in the trees, the rustle of the leaves, a gently moving stream, listening to the birds singing or squawking, the quiet hum of my pottery wheel, sitting in a park and listening to the traffic slowly go by. It's peaceful and slower. You're tuning out the world so that you can tune into you in that moment. There, most of the time, that's when my mind really clears out and I'm at peace. I get to be by taking in what's around me or not. Recently, my mind was more akin to a hamster on a wheel. It was going and going and going and going, and it would not stop, and it would hop from this to that to the other. And some of them were positive thoughts and others were not. And it just, my mind would not stop. It was so loud inside my head, and I was so frustrated. So I tried to meditate. I tried to just sit down and listen to the birds. I tried to do all of those little meditations that usually help me, and none of them were working. That hamster wheel just kept going and squeaking every time it went around. I would play a game. I would read a book. Nothing worked. The calmer I tried to be, the louder my mind seemed to be, and I was really becoming very frustrated that I couldn't get it to stop. And then I magically found my peace in an unexpected way. I found myself in a really, really loud space. It was so loud, there was no way that you could talk to the person next to you. There was no way that you could listen to music. You were just stuck in this loud, noisy, slightly uncomfortable space. Couldn't really get out of it. I was there for this experience. Deafening noise in my head. Eventually, I put my earplugs in to try to drown it out a little bit. And then I'm left with the still continuing deafening noise and me in that moment. The crazy thing was that it was so loud outside. Magically, my thoughts calmed down. Deafening silence. My brain finally stopped. There was so much external input that the hamster wheel slowed and eventually calmed down to nothing. It was amazing. I was kind of blown away and surprised. I settled in. I enjoyed the silence. And then I realized I've been here before. Churning thoughts, the running dialogue. The difference was, the last time I was there, found myself by a roaring river. And I went there with the intention of writing. I went there because I needed to get some stuff out. And yet my brain was going so much that I couldn't write. And I was so frustrated, and that blank page kept staring at me. And I thought, well, maybe the river will calm me. And I thought that it was going to be a calm river. But when I got there, it was roaring, deafening, unbelievable. And I sat down frustrated because this meant that I would not be able to write because I could not calm my brain down. And magically, my brain stopped. There was so much noise, so much input, that my brain finally calmed down and stopped talking. The river gave me that gift. And once I stopped, once my brain stopped, because there was so much external input, that's when the inspiration came. And that's when the words flowed and the page filled up with inspiration and ideas and everything that I needed to write. was only because it was deafening, overwhelming to bring me to silence. It's really cool. It's really amazing. We all have these self-care. We all have these things that bring us a little bit of joy, a little bit of peace, and we use them beautifully. And yet there are still times when we find that we cannot get that peace that we're looking for. You keep trying the old stuff and the old stuff isn't working. That's when new comes in. That's when unusual comes in. That's when unique comes in. That's when you try something different because that may not be working, and yet you still need to find what works for you. So on occasion, I am going to find myself in deafening silence because that's what my brain needs to stop and allow the positive, new, inspiring thoughts to come in. Self-care and meditation. It looks completely different depending on where you're at. Sometimes you need that quiet, gentle breeze in the tree. And other times, you might just need some deafening silence.